Hi, this is Lindsay, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Do you need some extra motivation in your life? Are you looking to be inspired? If so, then look no further than the Good God Company.
At the Good God Company, their mission is to create and clothe all loving humans with their unique, inspiring, and beautifully designed t-shirts.
All of the products from the Good God Company are equally designed to motivate you and improve your life. From their mugs, workout tanks, to eye-appealing shirts and sweatshirts.
Learn more about their renowned products by visiting thegoodgodcompany.com. That's thegoodgodcompany.com.
The Good God Company is proud to support Public House Media. The Good God Company. I'm feeling good.
Hi, this is Baxter Colburn, host of the Verse of the Day podcast here on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Verse of the Day, where we take a look at real-world experiences and applications to one Bible verse every Monday through Friday as we get an idea of what it looks like to be a little bit better of a Christian and how we can make this world a better place, one verse at a time. I hope you'll join me every single Monday through Friday right here on Public House Media, and I hope you'll subscribe by going to Apple Podcasts or wherever you find good podcasts as well. Once again, thanks for tuning in to the following broadcast here on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys,
Coffee with Keith.
and Katie on Public House Media.
Brought to you
The
by.
Good God Company.
Check them out at goodgodcompany.com. They make cool things like this mug. It says,
Public House Media makes this mug.
Yeah, got our logo on there. Got one of the cool designs from Good God Company on here. It says, I'm feeling good today. I like it. It's exciting. It makes you excited to start the morning. You know, like, feeling good today. Good cup of coffee. It's going to be a good day. So, there you go.
Yeah,
Makes your coffee taste better, too.
does it?
So today, we are talking about mythical creatures?
Yes.
All right.
So I was reading that the Scottish government has a plan in place if they ever catch the Loch Ness Monster. Apparently, they will take a DNA sample and then release it
Put it back into
into the lake. All they want is some DNA.
Mhm.
They want it to continue on as it has for thousands of years. So, I looked up, like, when all this... What was that face?
It's funny you said thousands of years.
Yeah.
So, this mythical creature that people actually think exists.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, I never thought of it this way. This thing would be like 2,000 years old.
Yeah. It's a magical creature. It can live as long as it wants.
Well, people think it actually exists.
Yes, the first minister, whatever that means in Scotland's government, says that she believes Nessie is real.
Cool.
What
kind of ranking official is this first minister?
I have no idea.
President? Like that?
I don't think it's president.
But-
I don't even remember if they're still a part of the United Kingdom.
But something high-ranking.
Something high.
A high-ranking official in Scotland thinks
Yes.
that the Loch Ness Monster is real.
High enough for them to say she's a first minister.
Right, yeah. If it wasn't a big title, they wouldn't say, school teacher so-and-so thinks that the... okay,
Right.
fair enough. All right, so
So I have always believed in fairies and magic, and Keith has...
obviously, as you can tell from, by the way, I started out the show, I don't believe in really any of that stuff. I understand it's fun to, but it's just not practical to me.
I believe in it to the point that I want it to be true.
Sure.
That's,
Like witchcraft and Harry Potter.
yes.
Like, everybody wants there to be a real Hogwarts and wizards and witches and everything.
Right.
Right. People want that to be true.
Yeah, but that's totally fake. Witches are a real thing.
Well, yeah, but not witches in that sense.
Right.
Not like magic. Not like real magic.
I think they may exist or have existed in the past. Anyway, so...
Like real witches? Yeah. I like people like to study witchcraft and,
like
they'll call themselves...
witch trials? Weren't they witches?
No. They burned people they didn't like.
But did they like them because they were witches? We'll never
Who's
know.
to say? We'll never know.
Never know. So, I thought we could talk about what... We always talk about these fantastical beings. Bigfoot. Yeti. What would we do if we ever caught it? We now know what Scotland would do for the Loch Ness Monster. And I looked up a few little facts for each of these little things.
Okay.
The first written account of the Loch Ness Monster was in 565 AD. A biography of St. Columbia.
565.
Yep. And before that, there are stone carvings from clans in Scotland.
So there are stone carvings of...
Like hieroglyphics, but Scottish.
Right, that show this, like...
It's an amphibious creature with wings.
When I think of the Loch Ness Monster, I think of one of the long-necked dinosaurs just kind of
Yes.
going like that, and then just sticking its head out of the water every once in a
I
while.
think that's what most of us think of.
Now, I am not... I understand. I am not unwilling to believe that there is an animal and there is a creature that once resembled what people think the Loch Ness Monster is. They say that they are still discovering new living creatures every day in the depths of the ocean. I'm not unwilling to believe that it exists. However, if this thing once did exist, there's no way it's 2,000 years old.
But maybe it's self regenerating.
So it's magic. It's like...
Yeah, I think that's a given.
I'm trying to think of a realistic way in which it would exist. And so, if it existed, then there would have to be other creatures that would have made the Loch Ness Monster. So you think there'd be some sort of bones or remains of other creatures at the bottom of the lake in order...
It's magical, which is on a separate plane from ours. And for some reason there was a wrinkle, and it came into our plane. And now it's stuck here with no trace of its ancestors.
Maybe. I am much more willing to believe that a creature at some time existed that looked like the Loch Ness Monster, that no longer exists, rather than some magical creature lives in a lake.
Interesting fact, if this wasn't interesting enough for you, it's estimated that the Loch Ness Monster, the folklore and everything behind it, contributes $80 million annually to Scotland's economy. The Loch Ness Monster.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, in 565, somebody was just telling a story to their kids to get them to fall asleep at night, and it's like...
No, that was a biography of St. Columbia.
They were in a cave one night. This is how it happened. They were in a cave one night, and the guy's chiseling away at the rock of the cave to get his kids to fall asleep. And then all of a sudden there was this normal necked creature, but then he slipped a little bit, a long necked creature. That's how it happened.
I don't think the carvings were meant for bedtime stories, because I think that would keep the kids awake.
I don't know. Alright, so Loch Ness Monster, what else about it?
So that's enough for the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
But
But in that article, you had me read it. Didn't
you
they
said
say?
you didn't read it.
Didn't they say that they like took a bunch of sonar equipment and GPSs and they like analyzed every nook and cranny of that lake,
Yes.
and there was nothing that resembled the Loch Ness Monster.
But it's a magical creature on a separate plane from ours. It has not existed for 2,000 years.
Like platform 9
by
3/4.
just swimming around willy-nilly
You know what?
for anyone to see.
As long as we're on this subject.
It has, makes itself invisible and undetectable by sonar waves. Oh boy.
As long as we're on the subject, we have to have the Elder Wand with us while we're talking about the subject. So,
Well, I thought we could also talk about the Phoenix, while you've got that too.
Dumbledore's pet.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's the Loch Ness Monster. You know what the Loch Ness Monster wants?
What?
Tree Fitty. It's a South Park. It's so great. I'm going to talk about it for a second. Off on a small tangent. South Park episode, the character Chef that no longer exists because it was played by Isaac Hayes and then he quit the show. But Chef's dad is on the episode one time and he has this story about how he always meets the Loch Ness Monster and the Loch Ness Monster tries to get $3.50 from him. It's so stupid. This is how I know I cannot be a writer for a TV show, because if somebody came up with this in the room, I'd be like, that's so stupid. And it is stupid. Like, so one of the main character's dads always tells the story about how he meets the Loch Ness Monster and he wants $3.50. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You have to look it up.
It's great.
Look up Tree Fitty, like TreeFiddy, South Park.
Tree Fitty.
Tree Fitty.
You can actually just put in Loch Ness Monster. And, I wanted it to bring up Loch Ness Monster origins, folklore. The first thing it brought up was South Park.
It's a big deal. Alright,
So on to the Phoenix.
on to the Phoenix.
Also a mythical creature. Widely noted in Harry Potter. Dumbledore's pet. So, it's believed that they have 500 years between rebirths.
500 years.
Yes. So when Dumbledore says, "Oh, it's finally time for him to, regenerate," whatever, he's been looking a little peaked.
Might have been.
Dumbledore shouldn't have seen him the last time. We know Dumbledore's old, but I don't think
He's not 500 years.
He's not
old.
500.
No.
So it's either a different breed of phoenix.
Is there only
in
one?
Hogwarts? No, it's the phoenix is a species, not just one phoenix. There's several
Right.
phoenixes.
They rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The University of Green Bay Fighting Phoenix. I heard that they're one of the only schools in the country whose mascot is a mythical creature.
Really?
Yeah. So it is a mythical creature.
There are. Oh no, it's not a mythical creature, but it's a god or something. Up north, there's a high school there. Up in northern Wisconsin, the high school, their mascot is Nimrods.
The Nimrods?
The Nimrods. But that's apparently a Norse god. So it's a mythical being, but not a mythical creature.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the phoenix.
Where does the phoenix have to rise from? Any fire?
Its own ashes.
Its own ashes.
Yeah, it has to die.
It dies. And it burns up.
Rise from
And
its
then it rises from its ashes.
from its ashes.
Got it.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to
No.
burn and rise from ashes. It needs to disintegrate and reassemble. One of the two has to happen. We went to Universal Studios a year ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, close to 3 years ago.
Oh my goodness. We
3
did a
years
vacation.
ago. It's the Elder One.
The other one.
The most powerful wand there is.
And where did you get it, Keith?
Ollivanders.
Yep.
course.
The only place to get a wand.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Spoke to me. I did not choose the wand, it chose me.
Yes.
All right. So what else?
So my favorite are fairies. If I am going to believe in any magic, it's going to be fairies. I think it is probably the most logical of the mythical creatures.
The most logical?
The most logical.
A fairy?
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, it's not something that's been hiding out in a lake for 2,000 years.
All right,
It's-
1.4.
All right, it's not doing
David,
something...
thanks for joining us.
Hi, David. It's not doing something like disintegrating and rising from ashes. It's a small person type creature. There are several of them. It's not just one respawning.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a whole different species.
It's a whole species, and there are whole different types of them. There are fairies, and there are leprechauns, and there are brownies, and like banshees, and all this.
Brownies?
Brownies. It's
Like
apparent-
Girl Scouts?
No. But that is in South Park. It was about that time I realized that Girl Scout was
It was about that time I got suspicious. Turns out that Girl Scout was a 10-story tall crustacean from the Paleolithic era. The Loch Ness Monster. I'm gonna watch that episode now.
Good, because he's watching House of Cards, and I hate that.
House of Cards is awesome.
Anyway, so the fairies, known as the little people or the hidden people.
David, as long as you're watching though, I'm sure you've watched South Park, the Tree Fitty, Loch Ness Monster. Confirm this for me. I'm sure you must have watched. You know, people might say that David is a mythical creature for our show because something that always comes up during the show, something that we speak to. However, no one's ever seen his face on the show.
It's true.
We also have a mythical creature.
Named
His name is Dave Show.
So,
The Greg and Dave Show also have a mythical creature on their show.
Mrs. Bale.
Mrs. Bale.
Yes. If you don't know what we're talking about, you need to
You
check
have
out
to
Public
listen to
House
their show.
Media's podcast, The Greg and Dave Show. It's amazing.
Yep.
But then that will show them that they're not mythical. Our audience.
But it's a podcast. You still don't see Dave's face.
I think it's a little iffy.
Anyways.
Alright, so I was looking up how to catch a fairy because I think there's, we go by it all the time, the fairy forest, I call it. There's this little thing on our walk to the train, and it's vines that go over a walkway, and the branches have twined themselves around the fence, so the fence is immovable. It's great. And they have Christmas lights in there.
Arching thing.
Yeah. And it just looks very old and very magical. And I really want there to be fairies living there, which is why I call it the Magic Fairy Forest.
If there was anything that would be a magical fairy forest, it would be this place.
Yes.
It is because of the case that you have the archway while going into the apartment, but like it's like this ivy, but it's like a tree that has wrapped itself and disconfigured itself around these iron bars.
Yeah.
So it's this. If you're looking at it from a distance, it's really just this archway of tree branches with little twinkling lights everywhere.
Yeah.
It looks pretty neat.
It's awesome.
It is.
So I thought perhaps we could catch one. And I was reading about it, and then I realized the article I was reading was making fun.
David
Just
says,
being nasty.
David says, as far as you guys know, I'm still a Fig Newton of your imagination.
That's good, David. That's good.
I like it.
So the big question, I think you can participate in this more. What would you do if we caught any of these? If we were fishing on Loch Ness and found Nessie, what would we do?
I would put it? Well, how big is it?
Let's say it's a dinosaur. It's a long-necked dinosaur size.
Well, if you're not gonna catch it then.
But you could talk to it, or pet it, or
You can talk to it?
ride it. You can always talk to something. You can't always talk with something.
We can ride it?
Maybe.
If we caught it, if we eat it.
Eat it, David said.
If we caught it and if we could contain it. If we could contain it somewhere and like have it in our possession.
Yeah.
I would call whoever I thought I could call. And so the first minister of Switzerland or whatever.
Scotland?
Of Scotland. Scotland. I would call the first minister of Scotland, whoever you said believes in it. I would show the first minister that it exists, and then I would unleash a massive bidding war. And then I'd tell whoever her enemy is that also believes in the Loch Ness Monster, and then I would be like, all right, how much do you guys want for it?
But this is Scotland, where everyone is
You just said that Scotland makes $80 million a year off of the myth of a Loch Ness Monster. If I'm the one that caught the Loch Ness Monster, and if I could prove that this thing is real, how much money do you think we could make in a year off of the real Loch Ness Monster?
But then there would be that moment when we would look into Nessie's eyes, and she would know. She would know that we were exploiting her.
Would it be one of those things like one of those things at the end of a movie, like, you know, someone is kind of like Moby Dick or something, but really at the end, like we spend our whole lives trying to find something, and then once we find it, we realize how special it is, and we just have to let it go.
Yeah.
And nobody else will really know for sure that it was real, except for us.
Now, what I would do is I would make friends with it. So, not gonna sell it, but I would be friends with it, and we would visit, and I would be able to say, the Loch Ness Monster is my friend, and sometimes we go swimming together in Loch Ness.
All right.
He doesn't realize I'm half
And
serious.
I would make friends with it.
I would never sell it. It is not mine to sell. It is a living creature.
I caught it. It's mine.
What would you do if you caught a phoenix? I would probably do what Dumbledore does and keep it in my office.
Yeah, I'd keep it. Yeah, definitely, I'd keep it.
You wouldn't sell this one?
Well, no. Well, yeah, I would. I would sell it. Because it's going to die, and then it's not going to be around for another 500 years.
No.
Sooner, it's going to combust.
It lives for 500 years. And then it combusts, and it comes back. And it lives for another 500.
Oh.
It doesn't combust
I'd
for
keep it
500.
then. I'd keep it.
Yeah.
Because you can keep a phoenix. You can have a bird. You can't have a prehistoric animal that's the size of a long-necked dinosaur.
Which is why she would stay in the lake.
Which is why I would sell it.
And we would visit.
Yeah.
Well, where else is she going to go then?
Where else is who going to go?
The Loch Ness Monster. If you sell her, where?
Whoever buys it from me, that's up to them. It's no longer mine.
You
can do whatever you want with your oats. They're your oats.
What would you do with if you found a fairy? If we were walking by the magical fairy forest, and there was a little fairy on a branch.
I'd bring it home, and I'd let it live with us if it wanted to. But at the same, it's a fairy. It's small. It can fly away. You know, I'm not gonna leave the fairy captive. You know, hostage. It's a person, right? It's a person that can understand and talk to it. You know, so really, you really can't. It's another living person. You really can't take another person. That'd be kidnapping, right? Even if it was a fairy, you'd be kidnapping the fairy.
Probably.
Yeah. So no, I would talk to it. That's what I'd try to make. I would try to make friends with the fairy.
Yeah.
And be like, so, what's fairy life like?
That's what I would do. I would
look deep into its soul for deep hidden truths. Then I'd eat it.
I would love one day to be coming home from work and walk by the fairy forest and see little fairies in the fairy forest and stop and say, hey,
Hey,
let's
guys.
be friends. And maybe you can take me to Fairyland. And we can hang out there. I just want to be friends
Can the quality
with
of life for a fairy be that great? What do they live?
They're
How
magical.
do they live?
They're magic.
Well, then you can't live with them. You'd be. What do they call the nomads?
They live
the
on an
nomads, right?
overlapping plane with us. So if you read stories about fairies, time stands still. If you go to visit the fairy court, or you get kidnapped by the fairies, when you come back, no time has passed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So time stands still, so therefore you don't age. So you
Right.
could go hang out with the fairies for 500 years.
Yeah.
Then 500 years later, you come back and you haven't aged a bit, even though you've lived 500 years in fairyland.
From what I understand.
It's a pretty good deal. I would do that in a heartbeat.
So basically, you would monetize anything you would find, and I just want to be friends.
I would not. I said I would not monetize the phoenix. I would keep the phoenix as a pet. I would monetize the Loch Ness Monster. You just put a number on the Loch Ness Monster of $80 million. I'm going to monetize the Loch Ness Monster because I can't keep it.
No.
But I can keep a
She
phoenix.
has to stay in her lake.
But I can keep a phoenix, and I would be friends with a fairy because a fairy's a person.
Yeah.
So I'd only monetize one thing. Really, the only thing that you can monetize.
The Loch Ness Monster.
The Loch Ness Monster.
And I'm sure you'd monetize Bigfoot.
No.
No? Is that a person?
I'm not going to try to monetize something that can rip my arms from my sockets. So Bigfoot is like Chewie.
Yeah.
If you think of Bigfoot, anything that's Bigfoot looks like Chewie from Star Wars.
Right.
And Chewie, like they said in A New Hope, Wookiees will rip your arms from their sockets. I'm not gonna. You have to be crazy. Messing with Sasquatch, you know those things, and they're messing with Sasquatch, and then at the end, it's this person completely getting messed up by Sasquatch because they've messed with it too much. If I saw a Bigfoot, I would do exactly what I would do if I saw a bear.
Run away?
I would turn around and walk away. I'd be like, wow, that's Bigfoot. Nobody's going to believe me, but that's all right. I know he's real. I'm going to turn around and walk away, or else this guy's going to decapitate me with his bare hands. He'd take me to... That's what he'd do.
That's what he'd do?
That's what he'd do.
Make that sound too.
He'd go like... And that, because it would be a game to him. So that's the sound he would make. He'd be like, look at this little rag doll of a person. This is going to happen now. I'm going to take your head off. Oh, look at that! Look at how easy that was. And then he'd probably throw my decapitated head against a tree or something like that. He'd play baseball with it with his other...
Have you ever seen Harry and the
Big-
Hendersons? I know you have, David. You have to have seen Harry and the
You made
Hendersons.
me watch it.
It's
How
a good
about
movie.
how about a leprechaun?
Leprechauns are
Katie's Irish.
a classification of fairies. It's backwards. You can't read it probably. But my shirt says the leprechaun made me do it.
Did you see the one? David, Imagination Land, South Park. Saw that one. That's a 3-part series. That's a great series on
Can't
South
wait.
Park. Yeah, that's good. All right, so leprechauns are good too. So leprechauns are a form of fairy.
They are.
Interesting. Didn't
Yep.
know that. So we covered leprechauns,
Yeah.
witches and wizards.
Yeah.
Kind of. Got the Elder Wand right there. The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Now, what kind of species is Bigfoot? Have you looked into it?
I think no. I was focused on the fairies. I think Bigfoot is probably a humanish type thing.
I think Bigfoot is a mix between large humans and bears. A more human-like grizzly bear.
Okay. I can see that.
I think anybody that ever thought that they've actually seen Bigfoot and took a picture of it, I think it's just a grizzly bear walking upright. That's probably what it is.
Years and years ago, haven't seen Harry in ages, David says. It's a good movie.
John Lithgow, right?
Yeah. A young John Lithgow, but still
John
with
Lithgow.
white hair.
So if you want to know
He's
where,
like
if you
Steve
want to know where
Martin.
Sasquatch is, he's in Seattle, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We covered a lot of ground today on mythical
We did.
creatures.
We did.
Yeah.
So, today is the name game. We play the name game for Keith. But again, as I've been saying, not a lot interesting for me going on in the NFL right now. So I thought we could talk about mascots. I was actually looking
Mascots.
to see if
Speaking
there
of
were,
mythical creatures.
there were any mythical D1 schools.
Okay.
I did not find any.
Well, University of Wisconsin Green Bay. It's a Division I basketball.
Right.
The Fighting Phoenixes.
That's about it.
Lithgow is awesome.
Yes,
You're
he is,
absolutely
David.
right. All right, so
Anyway, so then I thought, well, can you name all of the NFL teams that are not named after animals? And there were more of them than I thought.
all of the NFL teams that are not named after animals.
Yes, but that's not the question I'm going to give you because it's too long.
Too long.
Yes. So I finally figured it out. Can you name? There are 5 NFL teams. Their mascots are birds of some sort. How
5?
many can you name? Yeah.
I could name all 5.
Let's do it.
Okay.
You have to name the city or whatever, too.
Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, I'm drawing a blank now. Eagles.
Yep.
Seahawks.
Yep.
Falcons.
Yep. 2 more.
Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinal. You want a hint?
No.
Okay.
Give me a hint.
Well, I just feel like our audience is going to get bored.
All right. Give me a couple more seconds here.
Okay. When I finish this sip. East Coast?
Baltimore Ravens.
There it is. Good job, Keith.
All right, but I can name teams that aren't animals too.
Can you? Do you
How
know-
many are there?
There are 16. Half of the teams.
Oh wow, 16. All right, well let's see.
Let's do it.
I got a great college team name for you. What about the Hawaii State John Lithgow? Hawaii State John Lithgow. That'd be hilarious. All right, let me try to run through them.
All right, let's do it.
All right, mascots that are not animals in the NFL.
Right.
Packers, Steelers. I'll let you mark them off.
Yeah.
Packers, Steelers, Patriots, Vikings, 49ers, Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans, Jets, Giants.
Hold on. Titans, Jets, Giants. You say Chiefs?
Yes, said Chiefs.
Did I not put Chiefs? I may have forgotten the Chiefs.
49ers, did I say?
Yes, you did.
All right. Chargers,
Yep.
Raiders,
Yep.
I'm at 12, huh?
Yeah, I think you have 5 left.
5 left. Alright. Now Browns.
Mm-hmm. 4 more.
Texans.
Yep.
I was thinking not the Texans because they have that little steer thing as a mascot, but
But their name.
Saints.
Mm-hmm.
How many more?
2.
2 more.
one of them I was surprised. I had to look up.
Buccaneers.
Yep. One more. Its name is misleading.
Its name is misleading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drawing a blank.
Also, I think Wikipedia is incorrect. It says it's the only NFL team to play its home games in New York.
In New York?
Yeah. Don't the Jets and the Giants play in New York?
I think they're technically in East Rutherford.
Well, this is apparently the only team that plays its home games in New York.
The Buffalo Bills?
Mm-hmm. It's not a buffalo. Their picture is a buffalo, but supposedly it's named after Buffalo Bill Cody, frontiersman.
All right, but yeah, the mascot is a buffalo.
Yeah.
But it's not the buffalo.
Right.
It's a good one.
They're in Buffalo, but they're the Bills.
So I got so I got 16 out of 17?
Yeah.
All right.
Good job.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that does it for Coffee with Keith and Katie this week. We talked about mythical creatures and sports team mascots.
What could be better?
What could be better? You know what could be better?
What,
a
coffee?
Nice hot cup of coffee.
On Monday, we're continuing the tour guide series. Very exciting.
All out.
We're having Robert Daniels on Monday.
We had Joe on Monday. We had Joe on this past Monday. We had ice cream with him. Yep. Fascinating guy doing a lot with ice cream. Check him out. Check out all of his stuff and check out the past episodes so you can learn more about him and what he's doing and trying to find the best ice cream there is.
Yeah.
So.
And then find out more about Robert on Monday at 7:30.
Robert, 7:30. Where are we going to be with Robert? Only one way to find out. You got to tune in. Everyone have a great weekend, and we will see you back on Monday with Robert for more Coffee with Keith
and Katie on Public House Media.
Everyone take care, and we'll see you around.
Bye, guys.